Welcome to CC Writes. My name is CC Lepke, and today we are gonna be bad. Bad story ideas and cringy concepts fill up every writer's trash bin. A random thought pops into our head to include a ridiculous character with no real purpose, and we throw them in the trash without a second thought. We abandon contrived plot lines, berate ourselves for every cliche, and hang our heads in shame at every ill-conceived character arc. But what if you didn't? What if you saved up all of those bad ideas for later? What if you took all of your bad ideas, crammed them into a single story, and then just ran with it? Today, I'm making the argument that you should never, ever get rid of any of your ideas, even the really bad ones, because they will make you a better writer. I started writing fiction when I was 11. Back then, it was just me and my best friend writing stories for each other because it was fun. As freshman writers, the bad ideas were abundant, and by the time we reached high school, they had started to pile up. Neither of us planned to do anything with the bad ideas at first. They sat around in our old notebooks, stacked 30 deep in our closets, and never expected to see the light of day again. But then, my friend and I had a thought. What if we used those ideas anyway? What if we wrote a story using every single bad idea we'd ever come up with in one glorious mess of cliche and literary awfulness? We wanted to get all of the bad ideas out of the way so that we could fully focus on our good ideas. We set out to write a terrible story using every bad story element that had ever popped into our heads. There was a character with ADHD who had the power to create anything she ever imagined. We named her Emma Jinx, with an I. Yes, it was that bad. She had companion animals who could speak. One of them was a skunk that we named after a perfume. The other was a squirrel that was a kung fu master. The villain was a powerful sorcerer who just wanted to steal the main character's power. There were all of these things, plus so many other bad ideas that I can't even remember. Our ultimate goal, I kid you not, was to end the story so that it was a dream all along. And yet, somehow, the story worked. Because we'd had so much experience writing at this point, it was our natural inclination to make fun of and subvert all of our bad story ideas. After writing this story, I came to the realization that there is no such thing as a bad story, only bad angles. I have never had so much fun writing in my entire life, and because of that, I've also never had such great writing practice. And that's exactly what it is, writing practice. We were using different prompts to tell a worthwhile story. We were turning bad to good. One of the suggestions that writers often get when coming up with new story ideas is to use a story element, cliche, or archetype and then subvert your audience's expectations of it. Using bad ideas as your story prompts forces you to do exactly that. Sometimes I even use my bad ideas in random story prompt generators to spice up my writing and find weird combinations for stories. I have a couple of videos about that, you should check it out. This doesn't mean that I think that you should go out and use bad story ideas for every single story you write. That would be silly unless you're trying to make a series of ridiculous cult fiction escapades for your brand. In which case, happy sailing, friend. My goal isn't to eliminate all of my writing competition by giving them bad advice. Unless you would think that would work? No, probably not. No, I think you should save your bad ideas primarily for writing practice. Then, if your bad story idea turned out better than you expected, you can use it in your regular writing once you have it looking all spiffy. I suggest 4 different writing prompts to make good use of your bad ideas. First is character prompts. Take your bad character and put them in an environment that would be totally uncomfortable and unfamiliar to them. And then give them a reason to want to fit into that environment. Let's say you have a character that's a broody shonen anime protagonist. Have him work in a candy shop with peppy and completely normal coworkers. Take out any instances where he could possibly encounter the sort of things he might run into in his normal story archetype. but make sure he retains the same gravitas that he would have if his story went the way that it was supposed to. Next, we have world prompts. Do you have a completely stereotypical idea for a world? Maybe you've created a world with vampires and werewolves, an apocalypse, or a dystopia. Try throwing in a character or situation that doesn't belong. Ask yourself, what would Pinkie Pie do if she found herself in the world of Game of Thrones? What would happen if the Terminator got trapped in the world of Monsters, Inc. and was forced to make a living by making children laugh? A familiar setting can look a whole lot different if you change up your characters even a little bit. We also have cliché prompts. This is my second favorite type of prompt because clichés are really fun to work with, and subverting clichés can lead to some really interesting stories. We'll take a common cliché, the love triangle, and try to turn it on its head. What if one of the people in the love triangle didn't actually exist? What if that person was an AI? Or better yet, what if one of the people created an entire new identity to catfish the other person in the love triangle? A story like this could be a drama, a silly rom-com, or even a thriller. I would even recommend writing samples of it in each genre just to see which one turns out to be more interesting. The fourth prompt that you should use, because it is fantastic and I love doing this, is the grab bag prompt. With the grab bag prompt, you take as many bad ideas, poorly thought out worlds, and stupid characters as you can and shove them all into one story. A friend of mine recently pointed out that old dystopian novels warn us about the future, whereas modern dystopian novels are about teenage girls with superpowers who can't choose between two boys. I jokingly said that maybe that's why none of my stories have turned out to be blockbuster hits. I then proceeded to brainstorm an idea where Dracula and a werewolf vie for the affections of Van Helsing's descendant during a zombie apocalypse, when monsters and hunters must band together to defeat the zombie scourge. I lovingly titled this piece of pure gold, Fight Me. It is fun, it is easy, and it is hilarious. Use it often and use it well. All I'm saying is that if you have been tossing out all of your bad ideas, you are doing yourself a disservice. You're not practicing the difficult parts of writing that will level up your skills and intuition as a writer. Waste not, want not, and other common idioms about the value of wording your things. Writing, unfortunately, can't always be easy. You have to challenge yourself in different ways so that you can improve. Doing writing prompts, writing challenges, and even practicing writing stories outside of your preferred genre is exercise. It lets you build your story muscles and develop your talents in different areas. Eventually, you won't see your stories through the limited lens of a single genre. You'll be able to take aspects of many different types of stories and piece them together into a much more meaningful whole. Your Frankenstein creation,
it's pronounced Frankenstein,
might scare the villagers on occasion, but at least you could be proud of your work. Think of it this way. Some of the best comedies are not non-stop laugh tracks. Sometimes they make you cry. Sometimes they make you feel tense. They take the impact and drama of real life and give you a reason to laugh about it too. If you treat bad ideas the same way, where you approach it not just as a writer of a specific genre, but as a well-rounded storyteller, then you can focus a new lens on that idea and show it in its best light. Bad ideas are really just great ideas that need a little bit of a glow up. And you, my lovely writing friend, are the best person to make that happen. Do you want to see my attempts to write stories from different angles? Click on the top video where I do a random story writing prompt challenge, or check out the bottom video that YouTube recommends. As always, thank you so much for joining me today on CC Writes. I hope you enjoyed our time together, and I will see you later.